Hi there, Tracy here with another scrapbooking process video. This one is using the Summertime Rolls kit, which is the scrapbooking kit from the Scraptastic Kit Club for the month of July. And I have all of the pieces out on my desk already because I'm scrapbooking this almost immediately after I shared the contents of the kit, which I actually am realizing right now that I haven't posted yet. So I'll get that video up today as well. And I basically shared the contents on a Thursday night, I think, and then I went to work Friday and came home and did this layout without cleaning up my desk in the middle. So I have all of these papers and I'm thinking about which one I'm going to use for this photo here of myself and my two daughters. It was a really hot day, and so we had done a little bit of hip-hop dancing in the basement. As well, for me it was workout and for them it was fun. They didn't really sweat nearly as much as I did, but it was a fun time. So I'm just thinking about which of these two polka dotted backgrounds I'm going to use for the main part of this layout, and this is going to be another 11 by 11 inch layout. And if anybody who's listening follows my channel, you'll know that I did another 11 by 11 layout recently. It should be actually the most recent layout that I have on my channel, which is this one right here. So I'm just checking to make sure that I cut the paper properly, because this other layout, which is the last one that I did, it floated on a 12 by 12 transparency. And so I just need to put another layout on the back of that. So I need another 12 by 12 or another 11 by 11, because if I put a 12 by 12 behind it, it's going to take away from the floating aspect of it, because it'll just look like it's mounted or matted on a piece of paper. So I did need this one to be 11 by 11. So once I decided on which polka dot to go with, and I chose this one because it has more of a white background, whereas the other one by Crate Paper, which is the one that has polka dots that form a zigzag pattern, it has more of a creamy, dirty white background. And so I chose this one. It is from the Scraptastic Kit Club, the more white polka dot pattern. And I'm going to mat my photo in this blue cardstock. I don't often use cardstock for matting other than white or black, but I just liked the blue, how it picked up on the blue stripes in Sophie's tank top. And it's a nice bold color. It provides some contrast. I do like my mats to provide contrast with the photo. So I'm just going to use my ruler here to tear another mat with this floral paper, which I really love that floral paper. I like floral. I often say I don't like flowers, but I do like a nice casual or a vintage looking floral, and that floral is both. It's vintagey and casual. So I'm going to use the back side of this piece of paper. It's a pattern paper that came in the kit. And I like the color, I like the softness of it, but I feel like it's just a little bit too plain as it is. It's just this kind of a creamy, light greenish blue. And so I'm taking one of the kits, one of the stamps that coordinates with the kit, and I'm just stamping every here and there all of these wavy patterns. And I'm going to almost fill the page with these wavy patterns. And I'm using Stampin' Up! Island Indigo ink, which is one of my favorite inks. And it gives a tone on tone look, because it's just a darker, it's more blue than the paper, but it's almost the same color, but much darker. So I left a couple of gaps in the pattern because I thought it just looked cool. So I stopped while it still looked cool. I was afraid that I would overdo it. So I left some gaps, and I really love how the gaps look actually. And you'll notice as I was stamping, I wasn't really being too careful about stamping a really crisp, clear image, because I knew that most of it was going to be covered. And I also don't mind sometimes with my stamping if it has that kind of hand-stamped look that you get when you don't stamp it properly every single time. My friend Stephanie was scrapbooking with me, and she had said that that would also have looked very nice if I embossed it, and that was a really great idea. I just had already stamped it by the time she suggested it, so that's another idea for making a pattern paper out of plain paper, is to emboss it. Then you get some texture as well as the pattern. So now I'm just having a look through the die cuts that come in the kit. There's a whole set of these die cuts from crepe paper, and they're all kind of little ephemera pieces, and a lot of them have a swimming theme. So I'm kind of taking out the ones, or I'm not using the ones that have a swimming theme, because this layout is not about swimming. It's really just, I didn't even really have much of a story to tell with this one. I really just love the photo. I think my daughters look really, really sweet. My older daughter had just gotten her haircut and wanted, she pulled her ponytail over her shoulder before I took the picture, so that you would get her hair in it. And it's really just kind of a snapshot. I don't have much to say about it, so I really just want to get it in my album as it is. So there's another set of die cuts that come in this kit, and I'm using both the kit and the add-on for the Summertime Rolls. And so I'm just having a look through this, and there's a little radio on this one, and because we were dancing, I thought I would take a chance to use that little radio. It says rocker on it. It's really cute. So these embellishments that I have left out, some of them are up on the top of the page and some of them are over to the right. These are all the potential embellishments that I feel like I could use with this layout, or that I would like to use, but obviously I'm not going to use them all, or the whole layout would be completely covered. I have this kind of starting off point of the tag, and then that variegated red die cut that has the same phrase over and over again in different shades from red to light pink. I would love to use one of these words as my title, but I didn't want to use good times for my title. I've already used, over the years, a lot of die cuts have said good times on them, and I've already used that title so many times that I'm not really opposed to using the same title twice, but I just don't want to use good times this time. It's just a little bit too vague. And I think that because I don't plan to do any journaling, I would really like my title to be a little bit more specific. So I have these label stickers from October Afternoon that came in the kit, and I'm thinking about using those, and I really want to use this cursive font for my title instead of the good times. So I'm going to open these up. These are beautiful foam letter stickers from Thickers, and they smell like foam, and Stephanie pointed out that they smell like flip-flops, which is so true. It was actually so true that I wanted to call this one Flip-Flops, even though it had nothing to do with flip-flops. So I'm going to call it Hip Hop Gals. And I really like the cursive writing for the word hip hop, because those H's look so cute, and it provides a nice little bit of a pattern of the two similar words right beside each other. And then I am going to put gals in between the two P's, the two dangling parts of the P's. And what I really love about this title is that the word gals is so not cool, and then, hip hop is pretty cool. So I like the contrast of, calling it hip hop gals, which, doesn't belie my non-cool status as the mom. So I'm just going to place those in a casual kind of way, so I'm not being careful that they're too straight or anything. And the same with the word gals. I am kind of bouncing them up and down so that they don't line up and they look nice and casual. So I'm just using some regular adhesive to glue those die cuts into place where I'd like them to be. And then I have the Scraptastic die cut that says summer, and it's cut out of craft paper. I really love that. And I just put that in place. And then I'm just going to have the very tip of that H overlap on my layered pieces. And I would love to layer the kite and that cloud, but I'm not going to. It's just not going to work. You might not have noticed there, I stuck in that little transparent pineapple in between the phrases there, and then I'm going to put the radio on top of the phrases so that the phrases become more of a design element than a phrase. I'm already covering the first part of the word. And that phrase says, so happy today, over and over again. But as I mentioned, I cover it up, so it doesn't really matter what it says. And there I am, just sticking that little pineapple in place. And I added a little pop dot on the radio because it was just looking a little flat, and where it's going to be the top embellishment, I just wanted something a little more interesting on it. So I'm going to use this little die cut star or arrow that has gold and a gold glitter outline all around it. And I just use my tiny attacher to attach those two layered pieces of transparency there. One is an arrow chevron, and then the other just is a yellow circle that has the word July on it in typing. I'm adding some dimensional adhesive here for some dimension. It just provides a little bit of a shadow between my layers and pops some stuff up off the page to give it a little bit more interest. And I'm going to pop the radio up. The radio is sort of the main embellishment. Sometimes I have what I would consider an accent embellishment on, not an accent, but I forget the word I'm looking for, but kind of like the main embellishment that has the most interesting or relevant information or kind of theme to it. And so for this layout, the radio is the thing that kind of means the most as far as the embellishments that are on this. So I pop it up a little bit higher than the others. So I used a different dimensional adhesive just so that it stands out from everything else on the layout. I may have outlined it too. It was a little bit of a fussy thing to outline, so I decided not to. Now up here on the top, I'm coming together with a little cluster of kind of secondary embellishments, the love this banner, and then the cloud, and then I added the X and the O up there just to bring something from the bottom up to the top. So that brings the texture and the color of the thickers. And I am going to outline this even though I haven't outlined anything else. I don't normally like one thing to be outlined on my layout, but I just felt like the cloud was getting lost amongst the polka dots on the background paper, and I didn't want that to happen. I didn't want that to be the case. So I outlined it just to give it a little bit more dimension or just a bit more contrast with that background paper. I also added the hashtag so that it says hashtag love this on that banner. And again, that's just bringing another element from below up to the top. And I do like to do that with my top. If I have a small secondary cluster in a top corner somewhere, I do like to bring up some elements from the main cluster so that it looks like it belongs there instead of looking like it's sort of an afterthought. So more pop dots on that arrow that's going to point to my title. And there's a phrase on that. It says, hello there, sunshine. I didn't zoom in. I forgot. I was scrapbooking this with a friend in my room with me. And so I wasn't quite as attentive to zooming in and zooming out. I'm actually a little hesitant to zoom out. This is Tombow Mono Multi adhesive. And I'm just using that to attach my little pieces of ephemera. They have they're glittery gold pieces from the crepe paper ephemera pack, and they are on a kind of like a heavy transparency, and so I like to use liquid adhesive for that kind of a thing. And the Tombow Mono Multi is really good because it doesn't, if it were to ooze out, it doesn't have the same shine that glossy accents have. So I usually reach for my Mono Multi as my adhesive of choice for those sorts of things. So there, everything is glued down now. And I'm just thinking about whether I might want to put a little something else on this for accents or for something to do. And yeah, so as I was saying, my biggest challenge when I'm zooming is remembering to zoom out. So I just added one more sticker there underneath the word summer, and it says Sun-Kissed Memories. Thought about adding some enamel dots over here and there. I also thought about splatter, but with a busy background like this, a polka dotted background, I don't want to add splatter. I like it just the way it is. So I just took a little piece of twine from my stash and put it on that tag. I like to finish off a tag with twine or something to make it look like it's a real tag. So yeah, my biggest challenge with zooming in is remembering to zoom back out again. And so when I have a guest in my scrap room, I sometimes am a little bit more distracted and more likely to zoom in and then forget to zoom out. So I just decided to, for the most part, not zoom in at all for this one. So you just saw me there. All that I did was I used my ATG to adhere the whole layout onto the transparency so that now I have the back side. And this layout is going to float in my scrapbook on that transparent background. And there's what the top cluster looks like. I like the little plus signs. They add just a little bit of dynamic energy to the top cluster. And I think the layers came out really nice. It's not too cluttered. Everything has a little bit of space to breathe, but there are no gaping holes or anything. I brought another one of the plus signs down below just because it kind of continues that motif, and I really like how it looks beside the word hip hop there. It just directs your attention to the title. So I don't think I added any final details. I didn't get to use those label stickers, which I was really looking forward to using them because I love them, but they will make their way onto something this month, I'm sure. So whenever I get around to turning off the camera here, sorry about that, I will put some photos at the end of this video as usual. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope that you guys all have a really great scrappy week. Sorry about my voice for this video. It's very early in the morning. I got up to narrate this before my family gets started for the day. So have a really great week, everybody. Bye-bye.